So when we first came up with this reversing biological age study, Paul and I were going to have a 3-month intervention. But what was really exciting is that we had a group of people want to continue. So we had biological age information from the beginning before we jumped into the intervention, which was diet, lifestyle, supplements, exercise. Then we have data at the 3-month time point. And then we had about 36 people out of the almost 60 continue on with the protocol for 6 months. So I have seen all of the results from the 3 months, and majority of people had what I would say is almost phenomenal results. When you consider that we are doing this really through lifestyle. And as I said to you, Paul, just before we jumped on, there's people out there spending millions of dollars on plasma injections, gene editing, all this stuff to reverse their biological age. And we've done this through diet and lifestyle and a few key supplements. So majority of people did reverse their biological age, meaning, and just to step back a little bit, we have our chronological age. So that's your birthday, how old you are from when you were born. But then there is something known as biological age. So some people could be 50, but actually their biological age is 40. They're fit, they're healthy. But someone could be 50 and actually they're struggling. They've got a chronic illness, they're in pain. When you go and do these tests, they might come out at, 60. So there can be quite a big difference with biological age. And what we know is that we can actually change this. As you would all know as listeners of Paul's podcast, you can improve your health at any point in time. And we use these new, really just released, very recent tests in Australia. They've been in the US and other countries for a while that have been shown to measure biological age. And for those of you who don't know much about the tests, there are these kind of algorithms. So there are different biological clocks. And what's interesting about this particular report or the test we do, we don't actually come out with one age, which can be a bit confusing, can't it, Paul?
Yeah, certainly can.
Very, very confusing. But we are using what is in the current literature that has been developed over the last sort of 10 years, looking at ways to determine biological age. So we look at an overall biological age, an immune age, something else called the Dunedin pace. So there is pace of aging. Some people are aging at a faster rate, a slower rate. We look at telomeres, we look at risk of diabetes. So I've seen all the results from the 3 months, and aside from a few people where we really can pinpoint why they didn't get the benefit, particularly those that followed the protocol, and that was because a few people did get sick. There was a few COVID infections in there. We now know firsthand that mucks up epigenetics and biological age for a little bit longer than we thought. Initially, we say to people, just hold off for 2 weeks if you've been sick or, you've had an infection or some kind of, stressful event. And 2 people actually had surgeries. And again, we thought 2 weeks would be enough, but it shows that it does, impact results. Probably no surprise, but we do understand why they didn't get the great results. And then we're going through the 6-month information as we speak.